and welcome back to 27 Fox Place. If you're new here, my name is Randy and I make videos for cleaning and organizing motivation. So if you love organization, this video is for you. I'm using the Konmari method to organize the Komono category in my house, and I'm going to break this down into subcategories to make the task more manageable. I have a small disaster in the guest room that I need to work on, and we recently sold the furniture that we had in this room, and I still need to come up with a plan for this room. I want it to function as more than just a guest room, but before I let myself add anything new to this space, I need to clear out everything that I know I'm not going to be keeping. Before I can get started, I need to clear out the linen so that I have some room to work. Everything got tossed on the floor when we moved the furniture out of the room. And then once I've cleared out the bedding, I can vacuum so that I can start with a clean space. You can see a line in the carpet where the color changes, and this isn't dirt. This is how much the carpet has faded over the years. But except for the color, the carpet in this room is in pretty good shape compared to the rest of the house. And I'm hoping to be able to replace the carpet this year, but we've had a lot of expensive repairs done in the house the last few years, and we still have a few more that need to be done. And now that I have some room to work, I need to clear out this closet. And does Monica's closet come to mind? There are times when removing everything and starting over KonMari style is a must, and this is definitely one of those times for me, and I'm working on the Komono or miscellaneous category in KonMari. So after this room, I'll still have the garage to organize, and whenever I'm not sure what to do with something, it ends up in this closet. And I've been putting this off forever because this is such a big project. And altogether, I spent about 4 hours over a series of 4 days. The first day I spent about an hour emptying out the closet and cleaning it so that I would have a blank canvas to work with, and as I emptied out the closet I tried to group things into subcategories, and deciding what to declutter is time consuming and it's easy to get stuck on spending too much time on one thing, and I could easily spend 2 days just sorting through one big subcategory. Sorting things into subcategories is easier to do, and I can see how much progress I'm making, and being able to see progress is motivating, but having everything grouped together will also give me a better idea of what I have to work with. And once I have everything sorted out, I'll go through each category individually and decide what I need to declutter.
We're falling out, we have reached disaster. Don't know where we're gonna be after. And we do it all again and again and again and again. Again and again and again and again. We're falling down, we faded. But I know that we can save it.
As I sorted through things, I noticed a few subcategories starting to develop. I had a pile for home decor, art supplies, and things that just need to go. And I also found categories for books, paper, and sentimental items, which are separate categories of KonMari, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these categories today.
Like the waves pull you down underwater. We're fun until we hit the bottom. And we do it all again and again and again and again. Again and again and again and again. We're falling down, we faded. But I know that we can save it. Cause we're like alpha and omega. Whatever happens doesn't matter, I know we can sort it out. Alpha and omega. Even if we go all out and break us down, I know we are alpha and omega. Whatever happens doesn't matter, I know we can sort it out.
This is the reason that I love clear organizers. I have been looking all over for these bags and I couldn't remember where I put them, so I wasn't able to use them. This uniform belonged to my late father-in-law, and he wanted my husband to have it. So I'm going to use a dust jacket to protect it, and then I'm going to hang it on a hook so that I can display it where my husband can see it.
We could work it out, 'cause we're like Alpha and Omega.
Now that the closet is cleared out and sorted, I can wipe down the shelves, and I'm just going to use a dry microfiber cloth to remove the dust, and then I'll go back over it again with a damp microfiber cloth and a magic eraser to remove any spots on scuff marks.
Even if we go all out and break us down and know we are Alpha and Omega. Whatever happens doesn't matter, I know we can sort it out. Alpha and Omega, Alpha and Omega.
I know I let you down, I made the same mistake. I am the worrying kind.
I fold the cloth in half one time and then again 2 more times, and once one side is dirty I can flip it to a clean side, and I have 8 sides that I can use before I run out of clean space on the cloth, and then I can unfold the entire cloth and I'll have 8 more spaces to clean and use.
When you then go, you will somehow still remain. Remember the time I told you the way that I felt, that I'd be lost without you and never find myself. Patience, let's do the numbers before we judge. Someday, all of this mess will only make us laugh. So find me at the rainbow's end, and we climb right up to the top again. Champagne on a Tuesday, and when I'm with you, the weekend never ends. It's silly, but sometimes I can feel your lips on mine. Lovers be lost, but we will stay on a solid ground. This time, it is for real in another way. Will you be my only and dearest every day? So find me at the rainbow's end, and we climb right up to the top again. Champagne on a Tuesday, and when I'm with you, the weekend never ends.
And now is a good time to give the closet a good vacuuming as well.
I still cannot grasp the fact that you want to be mine. Wherever we end up, I know we'll be alright.
I don't think that I mean that.
The closet is clean and empty, and everything has been sorted into categories, so today I need to start decluttering and organizing what's left.
I can understand you're tired of this town, and I'm not saying that we have to settle down now. Just remember this.
Another subcategory that I found while I was organizing is organizers. And organizers are something that I will keep even if I don't know exactly what I'm going to use them for, because I know that I will always be able to find a use at some point.
We're more than just stardust. Ignore this fact if stardust to do what your dreams.
I have some records that I need to keep, and there are some records that I'll have to sort through before I toss them. But since that's a separate Konmari category, and because I have enough to deal with, I'll save that project for another day. But for now, I'm just going to put them in the closet because it's an easy decision to make.
I'm the lazy one, so I guess I should have known. You said yourself
I'm going to empty out this file basket so that I can store some extra office supplies, and I'm going to keep the binders, but I decided to declutter the folders because I already have more than I'll ever use.
If you still love me, I can wait, I can wait.
As I sort through things, I'm trying to decide what I can live without, and I'm going to use this bin to round up everything that I need to get rid of, and I'll definitely keep the bin. But baskets are another thing that I don't like to part with because I can almost always find a good use for them, but anytime I come across something that's beyond repair, I need to get rid of it. I know it looks like I'm randomly sorting through piles, but I'm choosing my categories based on level of difficulty, and I'm trying to get through this as quickly as possible, so I don't want to get bogged down in decision making or start with a pile that will take all day to get through. The more piles that I can get through, the more progress that I see, which helps keep me motivated.
Hey, I don't think you're supposed to go. Maybe I'm just too slow. We should just lean together. We could have been stardust, same world but without us. Something made us find each other out there. Made us realize we're more than just stardust. Ignore this fact if you must, to do what your dreams are telling you to do. And I'll be out there looking for someone like you. There comes a time.
I have another pile of papers, but unlike the personal records, I already know I don't want to put these back in the closet, and I'm going to quickly sort through the binders to make sure that there's nothing important, and I'll keep the binders that are in good shape, and I'll toss the ones that are worn out or damaged. I started to sort through the books thinking that I would be able to make a quick decision, but I ended up boxing the books that I wasn't sure about so that I could sort through them later.
If you should take me or leave me, rusty and bleeding, or roll on the floor.
I have a few gaming systems that I just can't seem to part with, and it's one of those things where I think I'll be able to use them again someday, but I never really have the time. So I'm going to put them in the sentimental category so that I don't have to decide today. I've been storing all the paper photographs in this chest, but they're disorganized and hard to get in and out, so they've just been sitting here collecting dust. And this project is something that I've been wanting to do, but I've been putting it off because it's such a monumental task. I have a ton of photographs in this room and I need to sort through them all, but this is a project that will take days to sort through, so I'm going to have to save that for another time. But I do want to get them out of this wicker chest so that I can get to them more easily. And I want to make sure that all the photographs are together, and these clear shoe boxes are the perfect size to store the photographs until I can find something better. So I'm going to put all the loose photographs into the shoe boxes so that I can store them in the closet. Half of our photos are printed and the other half are digital, and I would like to start digitizing the paper photos so that I can have photo books printed. These albums are bulky and take up a lot of space, but it would still be nice to have a physical copy that I can flip through from time to time. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this chest, and I'm just going to vacuum it out so that it's clean if I decide to use it for something.
I know you're hurt. I can see it in your eyes.
I need to sort through and reorganize all of my sewing supplies, but that's a project that I need to save for another day because I have some projects that I still need to finish and I have some clothes that need to be repaired. So I'm planning to spend a day or two taking care of these things, and for now I'm just going to put away the things that have been left out and I'll declutter the things that I don't have to think about.
When the streams are getting strong, just hold on to me. I'm your lighthouse, I'm the sun against your dark clouds. I will always be your guiding light.
Art supplies is the biggest category, and I spent some time going through all of the drawers and decluttering the trash and the dried up paint. And now I need to sort through this bin that I used to collect all the supplies that were scattered in the closet. And I'll put things away in the drawers and I'll keep the bigger items in this bin. I'm not going to declutter anything more than that right now. I haven't been able to work on any project for years because either I don't have the time or it's just too much of a hassle to get to what I need. And I'm not likely to start a new project in the near future, but I am hoping to create a space where I can when I finally make the time for it. This is all the trash that I was able to declutter by sorting through all the art supplies. And as you'll see later, with all the extra room, I was able to condense all of the art supplies into one organizer. I also have a few needlepoint projects that I started working on but never managed to finish, and my goal is to get to a place where I can start working on them again. I completely forgot I had this magnifier and the batteries have just started to corrode, so I'm glad I caught it before it ruined the magnifier and anything else it came in contact with. So it's always a good idea to remove the batteries from electronics while they're not being used. Now that I've finished sorting and decluttering, I can start organizing what I have left so that the closet functions as more than a storage shed, and I want to arrange each category so that it's easy to find and access. I'm clearing out these drawers so that I can use them for gift wrapping supplies. I have a station in the closet for all of the gift wrapping supplies, but the magazine file that I have isn't working out as well as I'd hoped, so I need to find something to replace it, and these drawers will be perfect for things like ribbons and tissue paper, but I'll still need to find a better solution for the gift bags. I've been using a damp microfiber cloth to clean the dust off all the organizers so that they're nice and clean before I use them again.
I'm your lighthouse, I'm the sun against your dark clouds. I will always be your guiding light.
Now that the drawers are clean, I can start loading them up with wrapping supplies.
It was always on fire, our house, our dreams. We were dancing on a wire, reckless it seemed. We found holes in these walls, we like what we saw.
I'll need to add labels to make it easier to find things, but I'm going to save that for another time. In the meantime, I know that I have everything I need to wrap a gift in these drawers, and I'll put scissors in the top drawer and I'll add tape and pins the next time I have a chance. Now that I have more room in these pockets, I'm going to sort through the bags and reorganize them by size and type, and we reuse gift bags and tissue that are still in good shape, so I'll declutter anything that's no longer usable.
Living in a dark, clouded haze, we danced, we fought. We were bound to make mistakes, real love, we thought. But it was always on fire, our house.
I've used some extra parts from a curtain rod to organize the wrapping paper. I just mounted the curtain rod to the wall and I used the ring clips to hang the wrapping paper. And I hung this basket here because I wasn't using it, but I'm going to remove it so that I can keep it with the other baskets and I'll be able to find a better place for it.
When I was trapped, you showed an open door.
these photo keepers to store all of our paper photos, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time organizing the photos. I just want to get them into the organizer so that I can make sure they fit and that I have the right number of organizers. I bought 3 of them and I managed to fill up 2 of them already, and I have one extra one that I can use for the pictures that I have in the photo albums, and I'll still have a little breathing room. This is still a big project that I need to finish another day, but now I can access all of the pictures and I'm one step closer to my goal. And I can work on this project a little at a time so that it's not quite so overwhelming. I don't have a use for these baskets at the moment, and I don't have enough room on the shelves to store them, so I'm going to fill them with the things that are already on the shelf to save some space, but it will also be more aesthetically appealing. There are a few things that I moved around a few times, like these books, and overall I'm very happy how this closet turned out, but I'm sure I'll make a few tweaks when I have more time. I kept the candles stored in a closet downstairs, but since I have more room up here, I thought I would keep them up here instead. And the other day I couldn't find any of the lighters and I thought we were out, so of course I bought another pack, and now I'm stuck with more lighters than I can possibly use in a lifetime.
Until the spring liberates me from my winter hell. I've got candles and candy, I can be your daddy if you only let me creep into your prison cell. Hey baby, can you tell I'm not a criminal? Your choice is
Candles are another thing that I ended up moving to another location. As I was moving more things into the closet, I had more empty space around the house, so as you'll see later, I ended up finding a better place for the candles. Of course, paper is a separate Konmari category, but I have these documents for the house that I know that I need to keep, and they're legal size, so they don't fit into the same letter size files that I have. I needed a way to keep the separate folders together, and I found this expanding file so that I could store everything together and keep it organized. So I took a few minutes to transfer the documents to the new file. Ironically, I'm using an extra storage bin to organize my extra organizers, and I'll be able to store them on the shelf with all the extra baskets.
it's a lot of woe, and that's not a place where you would like to go. I've got cigarettes and brandy, which could come in handy if you just help me loosen up my hand grenades fuse. Baby, don't refuse my truth, but it's up to you not to choose. I want you to stay true to what's right.
Before, all the baskets and organizers were scattered all over the closet, so it was hard to keep track of what I had to work with. But now that I have everything in one place, if I need an organizer, I can check here to see if there's something that I can use. Momentos is also a separate Konmari category, and I have these empty bins, so I'm going to start putting all of the sentimental items into these bins so that I can sort through them another time. And I have one bin for my husband and another one for me. This is the last day that I spent on this project, and I didn't have a lot to do, and what's left is either something that I'm not going to keep in the closet or that I needed time to think about. Since this chest is empty, I thought it would be a good place to keep the extra home decor items until I decide what to do with them.
What will others say? Just find your way and try to stay
I still need to sort through and reorganize all of the craft supplies to see if there's anything that I can declutter, but I thought I would take a minute to clean out the drawers before I put them back in the closet, and the next thing I knew I was falling down the rabbit hole, and I had to stop myself and focus on the task at hand. And I left this cart for last because I've been trying to decide if I want to keep the drawers and get rid of the cart. And the cart doesn't fit very well in the closet, and I thought I would be able to move it in and out of the closet because it has wheels, but it doesn't roll very well on the carpet. So I decided that I'll keep the bins and store them on the shelf instead.
'Cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting.
But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken, 'cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. I was never the one to give up the ghost. No, I was so stuck. I kept on playing my part, wanting to give up 'cause nothing was changing. But with you it's so clear, and now that you're here I see colors in every spectrum. Guess I finally learned my lesson. 'Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. And I think to myself, and I'm thinking out loud, we won't need nothing else for the rest of our time. And I know it so well, I will always be by your side. 'Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever.
For the last bit of supplies, I had these baskets in the garage and they just slide onto the shelf. And after rearranging the wire baskets and the shelf a few times, I finally came up with something that works.
'Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby.
I still had a few things that I needed to take care of. I needed to clear the hallway of trash and donations, and I had to try and get all of the linens into this tiny linen closet. And I don't want to get rid of anything until I get new furniture in the bedroom. So I'm just going to get rid of some of the older pillows, and I'll keep the newer ones on the top shelf in the closet for now. We use these towels for the dogs so I can move them out of this cabinet. And I also like to keep the bags that sheets and blankets come in so that I can reuse them when I need to store linens in the closet. And I like to add a dryer sheet to the bag to keep the linens from getting that stale smell from sitting on a shelf too long. And I have an assortment of bags that I found when I cleaned out the closet. And now that I found them again, I'll be able to find the right size that I need. I still have a bunch of smaller organizing projects that I need to work on later, like this linen closet, so I'll have plenty to keep me busy, but for now I'm just happy that I've reached a place that I can manage. There wasn't much in this cabinet, so I decided to move it into the closet, and I've been trying to find a good use for this cabinet. It's not deep enough to store linens, and it's not in a convenient location. And once it was empty, I thought it might be a good place to store the candles. So once I clean out the cabinet, I moved the candles to free up more space in the closet. And now that I can see the floor again, I'm going to vacuum the carpet in the hall and the bedroom. There are a few things left in this room that I'm not really sure what to do with. I have some things that I need to try and sell, along with some things that I want to try and use around the house. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these jackets, but I know I'm not going to put them back in the closet, so I'm just going to hang them on the back of the door for now. This was a very big project, but I am so happy to have it finally done, and I'll leave you guys with the before and afters. And if you like this video, be sure and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, be sure and hit the subscribe button before you leave today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.